Hey guys, it's Zach back again with another video. And this time, as I promised a few days ago yesterday, I think, with my drummer video, I want to start showing you guys how to do some audio editing in Logic, doing some fun things with chopping up samples and doing some cool, interesting things with that. And we'll work with different material on with each one. I'm going to do this in parts because if I did a video just on various ways you can chop and like splice your samples, we would be here all day. So let's take it one step at a time. Again, I'm assuming that you already know how to use the basics of Logic. Again, I'm going to do some kind of getting started Logic tutorial at some point. I just have to figure out exactly what that will entail, but I will do that at some point because I know that that's something that's lacking and we're kind of learning on our own, as it were. There are some good groups, by the way. I'll actually mention at the end of the video, but there are a few resources that I'll recommend if you are wanting more help with Logic as a voiceover user, because Apple doesn't really have any sort of documentation specifically for voiceover users, although a lot of the help it can be used. It is very useful to read the manual. That's most of how I learned actually with Logic. I just read the manual a lot and experimented with certain things and watched YouTube videos to do that. But now there are more resources, including this channel, so I will mention some at the end. All right. So today what I want to do is really simple, but I'll spend some time kind of showing you different ways you could utilize this. All we're going to do today is, first off, and I'll try this with some different material later on in the video, but first off, we're going to take a drum sample, we're going to chop it up into various pieces. This is essentially, we'll make a drum kit out of it, and then after we do that, we're going to make a MIDI instrument out of it. Well, we'll do two things. I'll show you how to chop it up with just audio, where you have more control. You can do cool things with reversing and stuff like that. And then we'll chop it up into MIDI, and then I'll show you how to play it on the keyboard as like a drum kit. And then we'll try it with a few other samples. We'll explore and find some cool stuff. All right, so let's go. I am at the Logic. I'm in a new project right now, and I have my tracks view up here with the library and stuff showing. I'm going to hide all that because we don't need it.
Library off.
Turn voiceover up a little bit.
Out of inspector.
We're going to hide the inspector too.
Tracks.
So we just have the inspector,
control bar,
and the tracks area and the control bar. So first off, there are a few key commands that you might want to set up if you want that will make this much easier. Let me show you how that's done because it's really easy and it will save you a ton of time. I'm going to press Option K, and that's going to open up the Key Commands window.
Key commands.
The Key Commands window is basically a view where you can customize literally thousands of key commands that they have in Logic for doing all sorts of things, and some of those make it much more efficient to do certain tasks. So let's go through this a little bit. I'm going to go to the top.
Close button.
We have a close button here.
Key commands, US, edited.
That's telling me that right now we're in the US preset and it's edited, which means it's not the default. You can do various things with saving different key command sets and all this kind of stuff. I'll show that in another video because it gets pretty in-depth.
Key commands action menu. Choose, copy, import, and save key command sets. Expand and collapse key command groups. And reset all key command assignments.
So we don't need to worry about that right now.
All radio button, 1 of 5.
Now we have a few radio buttons at the top for showing what key, like telling Logic what key commands we want it to show. So we have all, so everything that's used and not used.
Used radio button, 2 of 5.
Used, so every key command that's assigned will be shown.
T radio button, 3 of 5.
Key, I'm not entirely sure what that does.
Touch bar radio button, 4 of 5.
That's for the touch bar on a MacBook Pro, but we don't have a touch bar in here, so that doesn't apply.
Unused radio button.
And then unused is anything that isn't assigned to a key command already. So that's stuff that you can assign yourself. Now, what you will want to do is go to this unused category. Mine is going to be in used because I already assigned these, but I'll show you how to do it anyway.
All radio.
So I'm going to go to all, and I'm going to press that on that.
Press all. So
And then I'm going to go to the right.
use key, touch, unused, customized button.
So customized, again, I'm not totally sure what these do.
Multi-used button. Conflicts 1 button.
Now, that's telling me that I have some conflicts, which just means that I've assigned a key command to something, but that key command was assigned to something else previously, and I told it not to replace it when logic is in a certain window. So basically, the key command will do different things depending on what window you're in.
Pressed button. Vertical splitter. Search key commands. Search text field.
Okay,
Blank.
so we have a search field where you can search for key commands because there are thousands of them. And if you go to the right,
Table.
you have a table, and this table has tons and tons and tons of categories and key commands within. So let me show you what that looks like.
In table. Command. Global commands. Expanded. 625 items enclosed.
So you already see there's a lot in here.
Command. Record. Level 2.
This is the command to record. And if you press Control Option right arrow, you'll go and see what key that's assigned to.
Key. R.
So it's assigned to R.
Touch bar. Keycap 5.
And it's the fifth thing on the touch bar.
Assignments blank. Command. Record/record repeat star. Key blank. Touch bar blank. Assignments. Command. Record repeat star. Record toggle star. Record/record toggle star.
So you see, there's a lot of...
Record toggle key blank.
So you have a record toggle, which I'm assuming is like if you press it, it will record. If you press it again, it will stop. So if you wanted to do that instead of just recording, you could. You see, there's a lot of choice, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed in this list because there's so many things you can do. But that's part of the beauty of this, is it's so flexible. So if you want it to behave a certain way, you can have that happen.
Star. Command. Command. Discard recording and return to last play position star.
So you see, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here that you can do. Now, what I'm going to do, though,
Out of search key command.
is I'm going to type div.
D-I-V.
Now I'm going to go to the
Div.
right.
Table. Row 25 expanded.
Okay.
Forward. Rewind by division value star.
These are there are four, actually, that we need to assign. This first one is rewind by division value. Now, what is the division value? Basically, logic has a grid, and this grid can be split into different musical periods of time, or just regular minutes and seconds. So in music, you have like eighth notes, 16th notes, triplets, beats, stuff like that. So logic's grid can be split into these different areas. And then that makes it so that you're able to move regions by that amount or split them at very precise positions, which is what we would want to do if we were going to chop them up, because that makes it very easy to get extremely precise. It's very easy to do very complex rhythmic stutters and glitch effects pretty quickly if you know what you're doing. And it's just really helpful. So that's what we want to do. And sighted users would do this visually by lining it up to stuff they see on the screen, but we can't do that, obviously. So what we're going to do is use these key commands to do the same thing.
Forward by division value star.
Now, these are already assigned, but I'm actually going to reassign the next two so that I can show you how this works.
Set next higher division star.
Okay, these I want to reassign.
Key, option command.
So it's not speaking that because my punctuation setting in VoiceOver is not set to all, but that's a period.
Command, set next higher division star.
And then if I believe that's a period, and if I go down,
Set next lower division
and
star.
I go to the right.
Key, option command.
So actually, if I want to verify, I can actually interact with this,
In text,
and then I can move with Control, Option, and Shift and the right arrow, and that goes by character.
option, command, period.
Yeah, oh sorry, so that's period. I want to change these so that they're reversed.
Out of option command. Command, set next higher division star.
So I just went up in that list with Control, Option, up arrow. So I want this to be Command, Option, period. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to swap them around. So I'm going to stop interacting with this,
Out of table.
and then I'm going to go to the right.
Keyboard. Key. Option command. Edit
So
text.
it's telling me the key, and then if I go one more,
Learn by key label button.
this is what you want. You have two. You have Learn by Key Label
Learn by key position button.
and Learn by Key Position. The second one is mainly useful if you want to do this with a keyboard that has a numpad, so a number pad to the right. This keyboard doesn't have that, so it's not very useful. But that's helpful if you wanted to assign, say, the 0 on the number pad to do something, and then the 0 up here to do something different, for example.
Learn by key label
But
button.
this is what we want.
Learn by key label button.
When I press Control Option Space on this, it's a toggle switch, although VoiceOver doesn't say it is. So basically, when I press Control Option Space, it's going to go into learn mode, as it were, and then I can press any key I want, and whatever key I press will affect or will be assigned to that command. So let's try it out.
Press learn by key label button.
I'm now going to press Command Option period.
Cancel button.
Now it's bringing up a dialog telling me that there's already a key command assigned, but I'm going to tell it to replace.
Replace.
Just like that.
Press replace.
Now it's
default
still
button.
in learn
Row
mode.
1 expanded. Row 19.
So
row
I
1
can just
row 25
I can just
expanded.
go down
key command.
now.
Row 1 learn by option key keyboard table row in set next lower division star.
And now I'm going to press.
Row 1 expanded.
Now
Row 19 expanded. Row 25 expanded.
It's talking because basically when I release those keys, it's interpreting those as what I would want, but I'm not going to do that because it's always looking out for a key command that it can use. So I'm going to now press Command Option comma.
Row 1 expanded. Row 19 expanded. Row 25 expanded.
Perfect. Now that's assigned. And if I want to confirm that, I can go to the right.
Key option command.
If I go into that.
In option command comma.
There you go. And it doesn't react to voiceover commands because voiceover has those, so you don't need to worry about it like trying to assign voiceover commands to logic or anything like that. So now I'm going to go out of learn mode by just hitting that button again.
Out. Keyboard key option learn by key label button. Press learn by key
now we
label
don't have
button.
all that row 1 expanded stuff anymore.
Learn by key.
So there we go. That's assigned, and it's that easy. Let's test to see if this works. So let me also show you what I assigned my rewind and forward by division value to.
Look up key table in, option command rewind by division value star.
So for
key,
rewind,
option, comma.
I just have option comma, and then for fast forward, I have option period.
Out.
So now I'm going to close that.
Untyped.
So you see, it's actually very logical because you have command, option, comma, and period to move from eighth notes to quarter notes to sixteenths, and then you have option, comma, and period to actually go and rewind and fast forward by those amounts. So let's try it out and see if it works.
Tracks.
I'm going to go in here.
Track 1 classic.
And I'm going to go to my
bouncy break one
region here, which is a breakbeat that I found in the Logic Loop library. Let's actually just play it. I'll show you what it sounds like.
1 beat.
So there you go. We've got a breakbeat. Now, right off the bat, before we do anything, I only want that first half because the beat is 4 bars long. I just want the first 2. To do that, all I have to do, it's super simple. I'm going to hit the period key to fast forward to the 3rd bar.
2 bar, 3 bars, 1 beat, 1 division, 1 tick.
And you see voiceover tells you, and then I'm going to hit Command T, and that's going to split the region.
Split regions events at playhead position.
Now what that just did was made a separate 2-bar region directly to the right of this one and selected it automatically. So I'm just going to hit delete to remove that second part. Just hit the backspace key. Now I can go to the beginning and play. There you go.
3.
So now it's just 2 bars long instead of 4.
Bouncy break that 2 bounce.
So we have that. Now we can also rename it if we wanted. I cannot remember what that key command is though at the moment. There's a key command for it. I think it's like Control R or something. But if you wanted to find that, what you actually could do, I believe it's in the Edit menu. Let's find out.
Edit, track, edit, paste, delete, copy, select, shelf, repeat, length, split, length, submenu.
Options. Ooh, that's new. So there's a length menu here. Let's see what's in here. I've never seen this before.
Length, submenu, double, have, change ellipsis, change.
Oh, that's super interesting. So you're able to actually double or halve the length of a region.
Have.
What if we were to have it? Let's just see what that does.
Have. What?
Nice. So that's actually quite cool. You're able to go in and say, I want to double this or have it or just change the length. That's really nice. I've not actually seen that before. I wonder if that's a new feature in 10.5 or...
undo change length.
I'm not sure, but I'm going to undo that because I don't want to do that right now. I like the region I've got. Perfect.
What? Workspace. Track 2.
So I'm going to go back in again. So what we'll do now is actually start chopping this up. I'm not sure what the rename command is. If you do want to find it though, what you can do, I'll show this real quick as well. If you have a mouse or a trackpad, if you route the voiceover cursor to the mouse, and what that means is it will take the voiceover cursor and place it on wherever, or sorry, it will take the mouse cursor and place it on wherever the voiceover cursor is, in this case, that region. You can press Control, Option, Command, and then the F5 key.
Bouncy break that 2 region.
And if you're on a Mac with the touch bar, you can press Control, Option, Command, the function, and then the number 5, and that will do the same thing. And then you can just hit Control, hold the Control down, and click the mouse.
Menu.
There isn't an accessible way to do this from the keyboard yet. They should add that soon, hopefully. But this basically just brought up a context menu for whatever region is selected, so you can do cool things like move it, or select parts of it, or do some stuff with flex time if that's enabled. So
Rename regions, Shift N.
there we go, it's Shift N. So if I'm gonna just prove that that works, so that you don't need to go into this menu every time.
Divide.
So I'm gonna hit Shift N. I'm gonna title it something else.
Selection.
I'm gonna call it drums.
D-O-U-S.
And hit return.
Drums, region.
There you go. Now that's much simpler. It's just called drums. There you go. Cool.
One.
So now let's get to the business of chopping this region up. So let me show you how these rewind and forward division keys work. I'm going to press Command, Option, and comma to go to the very, very first one, which is quarter notes. And VoiceOver, unfortunately, doesn't say anything just yet, but the good thing is that these don't wrap. So if you want to make sure that you're all the way on the first one, you just hit Command, Option, comma a few times, and you'll be there. Now I'm going to hit return.
1 bar, 1 beat, 1 tick.
Now it's telling me it's not saying divisions anymore because I'm only looking at beats.
2 bars, 1 beat, 1 tick.
See, so it's actually it's intelligent enough to know. Okay, so let's not tell him divisions because that's not what he's looking at. He's just looking at beats right now. So now I'm going to go to the next beat.
1 bar, 2 beats, 1 tick.
We'll try this first. I'm going to hit Command T to split the region there.
Split regions event.
I'm going to do it again.
1 bar, 3 beats, 1 tick. Split. 1 bar, 4 beats, 1 tick. Split.
There. So now we have 4 regions, and actually I'll do it one more time.
2 bar. Split.
There. So now we have 5 regions. So we have 4 beats and then the next bar. So I'm going to now go to the first one.
Drums.1 region.
So I was saying drums.1. You can rename these to whatever you want. I'm going to now press Option Space, and what that's going to do is it's going to play that single region on a loop, so we can confirm that it's only a beat long.
1 bar.
There you go. See, and it's very clean. So if we do it again with the next one.
1 bar. 2.
Nice. Do it again.
1. 2.
And one more time.
Bars, 1 beat.
Whoops.
Drum.
Yep.
1.
There you go. See?
Drum. Drums.
And
drums. Yeah. Drums. Yeah.
so sorry. Oops. There we go. I thought there were more than there was. That last one is actually just
2.
the second bar. So it's playing back. So that's just
2.
1 bar.
Drum.
So let's actually get rid of that one. And actually, no. You know what? No. Let's not do that.
3,
I
2.
will chop that one up too into 4 beats.
2 bars, 2 beats, 1. Split. 2 bars, 3 beats, 1. Split. 2.
So you see how fast it can get. And then the fourth one you don't need to chop because it's already
Drum.
just a beat long. We can confirm that again
2. 2.
by hitting space.
Drum.
Actually, sorry, it's
2.
not. Let's just double check.
Region starts at 2 bars, 3 beats, 1 tick, and ends at 3 bars, 1 beat, 1 tick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
4 bars, 1,
It's-
3, 2
it's,
bars,
uh,
2
2
bars, 4 beats,
long,
1
so
tick.
we do want to actually chop that one up. There we go.
Drum.
Perfect.
Region starts at 2 bars, 4 beats, 1 tick, and ends at 3 bars, 1 beat, 1 tick.
Yeah, a good thing to do also is double check that you're chopping exactly what you want by hitting Control Option Shift H, and that will tell you where the region starts and ends. That's super helpful.
1.
So now they're all chopped up into beat segments, essentially. And now what you can do is rearrange them. But something fun to do with these is convert them to MIDI and then play them on the keyboard. So let's try that.
Out at tracks, header, track 2.
And then I'll show you how to arrange them on
Track 2.
on the grid as well in audio if that's what you want to do. So I'm going to hit Control E, and what that's going to do is bring up a dialog.
Convert regions to new sampler track.
Now, we don't need to worry about too many options in this right now.
Convert regions to new set. Create zones from regions. Selected.
So we want to create zones from regions and not the transient markers, which is where Logic will try and do this work for us.
Transient markers, radio button, 2.
But while Logic is very good at this, if you have very specific needs, like for this kind of loop, I want it to be more of a like beats or maybe eighth notes, something equal, because it makes it easier to actually play something that rhythmically makes sense, and it's more it's easier to play.
Instrument. Sampler. Selected.
Although they've improved the transient detection in 10.5, and actually Logic's new sampler instruments can do this work for us. We have to do it manually right now because the samplers aren't accessible yet, but they're working on that. So we shouldn't have to do this for much longer if you find this tedious.
Drum machine designer, radio, alchemy, radio.
These are just different options for what instrument we wanted to import into, but I'm just going to choose the sampler.
Create one-shot zones. Unchecked. Check.
We could have it so that when you press a key, the sample will play to the end instead of stopping immediately when you release it. I'm not going to do that because it makes it easier to, it's just easier to have more control.
Instrument name, drums, content.
This is the name. I'm going to leave it at drums because that's fine.
Trigger note range, C2, G8.
We don't need to worry about this. If you wanted to limit the note range, you could, or if you wanted to change the starting octave, you could do that too, but I'm not going to do that right now.
OK creates an instrument with 8 zones of a maximum of 128 from each selected region.
Beautiful.
S, including the MIDI trigger region.
So it's all equal. It's only 8 zones. It's perfectly mapped and easy to play. So we're going to hit OK. After just a second,
Tracks.
There we go. We have our new region. And what it did was Logic made a MIDI track and made a MIDI region with our drums on it. So if we hit spacebar now and play it, it will play the exact same thing we did before, but Logic is playing the MIDI now. There you go, see? So what you could do now is speed it up or slow it down, and you don't really get a lot of the artifacts that you would normally get with time stretching. So this is very similar to, say, something like propeller heads like Recycle. It's basically the exact same concept, although Recycle is a bit more fancy, and Logic has a mode in Flex that does the same thing that Recycle does, essentially. This is a little simpler than that, but you won't really get many artifacts. Let me show you. I'm going to slow the tempo down.
82.
And all it's going to do is just play the MIDI notes slower. Now, it's going to sound a little weird because we've only done the beats, so the fills might be a little out of time, but you'll get my point. Now, it's actually kind of cool. It's a bit lazy feeling, which is nice. But I'm going to take it back to the normal tempo. There you go. So now, what if we want to play this, though? What if we don't want Logic to make a region for us and we want to play something in ourselves? Well, that's super easy to fix. We can just delete the region. So I'm going to go to the track that it made.
Tracks, content, track 2, bouncy.
Oops, there's a bug in Logic where sometimes the track view will not refresh properly, so I have to show the inspector and hide it again.
Tracks,
or
content.
just show it and it will work.
Track 2, in track 2.
Maybe. Or not. Let's try it again.
Tracks, header,
there we
group.
go.
Track 3, drums, group.
So we have 2 tracks. This is a little confusing. The first one,
track 2, bouncy break group,
is our normal loop, the audio. It didn't delete it, it just muted the regions so that we don't hear it at the same time. Then the third one is the MIDI track. So I'm going to hit delete to get rid of the region. And now I'm going to open up musical typing. And just like a normal software instrument, if I go all the way to the bottom end of the keyboard range, there we go, we have our loop. See, so now I can do... There you go. See, so we're making our own kind of loop. And again, if you were to chop this up into smaller segments, which I'll demonstrate in just a little bit, you could get even finer control. But let's just try making a new beat just with this. I'm going to turn the metronome on.
Metronome on.
I'm going to start recording, and we'll just try something. Alright, cool. That's a little... It was not really in time, so I'm going to... quantize it.
Off. 1/8.
I'm going to also swing it just a little bit to make sure that the timings are okay. There we go. There you go. So it works. But this is a little annoying because you have fills and stuff. If you were to actually program this, where you take all of the notes in the piano roll and move them around, that could actually maybe be a bit, a bit easier. But what we're going to do now
tracks group track 3 drawing
is I'm going to delete this.
Cancel track 2 bouncy.
I'm also going to delete this break beat,
Dim.
and we're going to import another
out of track
into the project.
Show
So I'm going to go back into the loop browser, and I have some other
real loop
breakbeats in here. These are all built into Logic.
Find
Something kind of
crap. Dark.
This could work. So let's copy it in.
What? Don't untype. Dimmed. One.
So this one's a little slower.
Tracks. Tracks header. Track 2 dark hall.
Cool.
What?
So now, instead of
dark
doing
dark
quarter notes, I'm going to do eighth notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my division grid to eighth notes. And the way this works is very simple. You have beats. Then if I do it one to the right, you have like a 6th note, which is a triplet, essentially. Quarter note triplet. Eighth note triplet. 16th note triplet. 32nd. And then 32nd triplet. 64th triplet. 128, I believe. So you can get really, really fine grain control. And if you want to actually confirm that you're on the division you want, there's a setting you can change in the control bar that will show you the division you're on and let you select it from a pop-up menu if you want. I'll show that in another video, but that's a setting you can change. I'm going to set this to eighth notes.
Dark hall break.
And I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before. So just option period.
One bar.
Split.
One.
Split it again.
One.
Do it again.
One.
I'll just do it for one bar.
One.
Whoops. Move my playhead.
One bar, 3 beats, 1 division, 1.
To get it back to where I was, I hit control home, which is control function left arrow.
Split. 1 bar, 3 beats, 2 division. Split. 1 bar, 4 beats. Split. 1. Split. 2 bars, 1.
There.
Dark,
and we'll
dark,
delete
dark.
the second one, which is the second bar. There. So now if I hit play.
What?
That did not seem to work. Let me see.
What?
Okay, that only did
Out tracks header. Track 2.
a few beats. Let's try that again. Because I think I got a little disoriented when I was
Show hide loop browser.
when I got lost in the
Loop.
playhead.
Type real.
Let's re-import that
What?
loop again. There we go. I'll
Track.
hide the loop browser this time.
What?
We'll try
Track
this one more time.
Tracks. Track 2. Dark. Dark. What?
Okay.
1 bar, 1 beat, 2 divisions. Split. 1 bar, 2 beats. Split. 1 bar, 2 beats, 2. Split. 1 bar, 3 beats. Split. 1 bar, 3. Split. 1 bar, 4. Split. 1 bar, 4. Split. 2 bars, 1. Split.
There.
Dark. 1 bar. 2.
And get rid
Dark.
of that one.
1.
There we go.
What?
Perfect.
Dark.
So now these are all eighth notes. So if we want to confirm that, we can hit option space.
1 bar, 1 beat, 1.
There you go. So now these are it's easier to play on a keyboard because they're more finely chopped up.
Out tracks ahead. Track 2. Dark.
I'll show you.
Track 2. Track.
I'm going to do the same thing with converting this to MIDI.
Convert.
It remembers
Okay.
your options,
Okay.
so you can just hit OK.
Tracks.
And there you go.
What?
There you
What?
go.
Track.
So now I can go into the piano roll like this.
Show piano roll. Piano.
And look, I've got all of my
no.
notes right here. Look.
Press note.
There you go. So they're all the notes right there.
No.
All equally spaced. You can now open up musical typing again and play this more like a proper instrument. There you go. See, so this is kind of how hip-hop producers do it, where they'll chop up vinyl and do this exact same trick. So let's say I wanted to change the sample, like the actual rhythm of this.
No.
Well, I can do that. There are several ways we can do that. So let's say that I want to make... Oh, here's what I'll do, actually. I'm going to make a copy
Track 3.
of this region. I would recommend doing this, too,
Logic.
because
Track 3.
sometimes
Dark hall break group. 40.
you can get a situation...
1 bar. 2.
There we go. Where you mess up and then you don't have the original to go back to. So this is kind of a safety thing where you have the copy. I'm going to actually move this to bar 3 just so it's out of the way. There we go. Now we can mess with this as much as we want. We can go in and say, I want to move one of these. I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna go to 16ths, and then I'm gonna move by division, which is Control Option D. But first, because that's normally a voiceover command, you have to press Control Option Tab.
Ignoring next key press.
And that will ignore whatever keys come next, so it won't treat them as voiceover commands. Then you press Control Option D. There you go. So now I'm gonna move that one to the left a little bit, and let's just see what that sounds like. And to do that, I pressed Option and the left arrow. I'm gonna do it again because I don't think that actually works. Let's see.
2 bar.
Oh, whoops. Oh, I was playing the wrong region. There we go. That's why.
3 bar.
There you go. See, so now
3
moved. We could do it again.
3.
Let's move it again.
3.
There you go. So we've moved that a little bit.
No.
We could try it with another one, like.
No. Press note at.
We could say, let's say we wanted to actually repeat that one. And let's get rid of
press note.
This one to the right of it. I'm going to mute it.
Mute on.
With Control M. I'm going to go to the left of that and hit Command R, and that will repeat it.
3 bar.
There you go.
3. 4.
That's cool. So that kind of gives it an interesting groove.
No. 3 bar.
There you go. So
press note. Press note. Press note.
But let's say I wanted to actually take that one and move it a bit to the left. I hit Option left arrow.
3 bar. 4
there you
bar.
go. We could do it again.
3.
There you go. So we just made sort of our own groove. So if we play the original and then the other one sort of back to back, I'm going to move the new region
track 2 dark
to the left.
Hit dark hall.
The one we modified.
Track it dark
This
hall.
one. There we go.
1 2 bar.
I just hit semicolon to do that.
What?
I'm going to go to the top and just
Metric.
turn the click off. So now we've just turned this 1 bar into a 2 bar loop. There you go.
3.
And actually the metronome was on, but that's okay. So we've got that, and
Metronome off.
there we go. Now the metronome is off.
1.
But let's say we wanted to do this with just audio alone. We didn't want to use MIDI because we want to do things like transpose or do things with reversing and stuff like that. Well, we can do that super easily. Let me show you.
Out tracks.
It's a very similar concept, actually.
In track.
I'm going to delete, and I'm going to go
Track 2 dark. Logic
back to
Pro.
this one. So now we have all of these chopped up loops, just like we did with the MIDI, except that these are all audio. So I'm going to do the same thing. It's very important to do this here because sometimes what can happen is if you move a piece of audio onto another piece of audio, it will basically mask the other one. Because on a track, you can only have one region playing at a time. So if you move regions on top of each other, they're not going to play at the same time. One of them is going to take precedence over the other one. So I really like on here to have a backup just in case that happens. So I'm going to actually hit Command C to copy all of these.
Copy.
I'm going to move
2 bar 3.
to bar 3 just as I did before and hit Command V, and I'm going to paste it.
Paste.
Alternatively, actually, what we could do, let's try this instead. I'm going to hit Command Z to undo that.
Undo. Track 2.
I'm going to actually duplicate this track with Command D.
Logic Pro. New track with duplicate settings. Track 3.
And I'm going to hit Command C on all of these.
Copy.
On the first track. Go to the second one. Go to bar 1 and paste there.
What?
So now if I
Toggle channel strip solo on.
solo it, we should have...
2 3 bar.
Nope. Okay.
What?
That did not seem to work.
Track 2 dark hall break.
Let me... Oh, I see. Oh, I know. Because it's muted. Let's unmute these with Command or Control M.
Mute off.
There we go.
What?
There we go. Perfect. So now we have a backup in case we need to go back to the other one. So let's just name this drums.
Selection drum.
Backup.
P.
There we go.
Track 3 drums backup.
Cool.
Track 3 dark.
So
dark.
we have all of these kind of separated out. We could do anything we wanted. So let's say
4. What?
we want to take
1 bar.
these snares and tune them down a little bit. We can hit Option down arrow and it will transpose them down.
1 bar.
There we go. We can do some really fun things where...
What?
So we could just mess with the pitch on all these.
Dark.
Do some interesting, weird things with...
What?
These are...
Dark.
It's interesting kind of
1 2
groove. We could have these ones go up.
Dark. 1 2 dark. 1 1.
And take this kick and take it way down.
1. 2,
There you
1.
go. So it's almost now playing some kind of weird melody, almost.
Dark,
so you
dark.
do fun things like that. We could take this one and take it and go really, really high.
1.
So
2,
that's kind of giving it an interesting
1.
texture.
1.
I actually kind of like it there.
One
It's
bar.
giving it a cool kind of vibe.
Dark.
So let's also say, for example, that we want to move these around. We can do that as well. So let's say we want to change the rhythm of this a little bit, repeat a few things.
1. 1.
Let's say we want to repeat this snare once. We can hit Command R to do that.
1.
So we just made it kind of a new pattern. We could take this second one
1. 1.
and split it into even smaller chunks.
1 bar, 2 beats, 2 division, 200.
So right now it's, let me see.
1 bar. 1 bar, 2 beats, 2 divisions.
Right now it's basically an eighth note long.
1. 1.
But let's say we
Bar, 2
want
beat.
that to be more 16th notes. So I'm going to go to the next 16th note
1.
and just split it there.
Split.
That way we can have
Dark. 1. 1.
A
Dark. 1.
sort of 16th note snare fill right there. There we
One.
go. So now we have this.
1. 1.
There we go. That's kind of a 16th note type thing.
Dark.
Not exactly, but it's close.
1.
Yeah, there you go. So you can kind of do interesting things with that. It's all sort of up to you. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I could go on. We could reverse things. We could add effects to only specific regions. There's a lot of stuff we could do. But I'll save that for another video because I think this video has gone on pretty long. So yeah, I hope that this has helped you to kind of see that you can totally do really intricate editing. There are certainly other and maybe better ways to do this that I don't know about, but this is just the way I work. And it's easy for me because I could kind of visualize where I want the beats to be and what I want to happen. And it's fun, you know, you can have fun with just experimenting, try things, you know, pitch things up and down, or make one part really distorted and then not the others, or do really cool things with triplets and fun rhythms and stuff like that. Find samples online. I find samples on Splice and do this with them sometimes. It's cool because it helps you stand out and be unique and not just use the same thing that everyone else uses. And it's awesome. So yeah, I hope this has helped. If you have any ideas for video suggestions, please let me know in the comments, because I really want and need your input on how I'm doing, what can we improve, what do you want to see next, because if I don't get anything, I'm just going to kind of go off of whatever interests me, but that may not necessarily be what you're interested in. So please let me know what you want to see, and I will try my best to make that happen. Again, please like, please subscribe, please share the video on Facebook and Twitter and all the other platforms. And I will see you guys soon with part 4 of the drummer video coming out within probably a few days. So until then, thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you next time.